Hello, it's Mark for the mossad-alf blog, and I wanted to make yet another video where I will show you all the different functions that I have been using with irfanview. Irfanview being this program here, that is the most important program that I'm using for all the many pictures that I've made. So far I guess that in here I have about 30,000 files probably, because you see every new template comes with a standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 folders already, and then there's more folders as I go along and more pictures. Yeah, let's say if every folder here has at least 3 pictures, that would already be like at least 20 pictures per folder. So, and as you can see here, I've like in the last years I've been pretty busy, so that's a lot of data. So I hope that this hard drive does not crash and I need to make another backup, because sometimes hard drives do crash. And I wanted to show you today the different functions that I'm using with irfanview, and I want to show you also the different databases, because all my research I've done mainly online. I've hardly used any lexicon, etc. And I'm probably gonna start with the databases. The most important database I use, most of the time I'm just logging straight onto Google, which is my standard web page. When I open my browser, is my standard web page. And then from there, most of the time I type something in. Let's say I am looking for example, Red Auerbach. And now, since Red Auerbach is a puppet from an Israeli TV show, he does not appear here. He has no data on Google. But let's say if I would ask for Mickey Mouse, which is far more famous, then I already had, with one view, all the data that I need. I had a picture, I had here a headline, and I had some more stuff here. Or let's say I would look for Daffy Duck. I also had, no, he does not have. Let's say I would look for Roman Abramovich. Then I already had most of the data here. So I could take a snap with the snipping tool of Windows here, and with one snip and a little bit of paint, I already have everything. I would have, he's an oligarch, like a really rich billionaire, and his birth date and what he looks like, and then I would just save it like that. 1966, Roman Abramovich, billionaire, etc., and then put it in the right folder. And so that would be the Google mask. And if most of the time also I'm using Wikipedia. Everybody knows Wikipedia. It's the biggest free encyclopedia on the web, and it's pretty good. Most of the articles are pretty good. I mean, you always have people who say, no, it's biased and I'm not using it for anything. I'm going to the Encarta or to another encyclopedia. But for me, for our purpose, it's good enough, because this encyclopedia reflects the same stuff that we would read. Let's see, in a lexicon here. I have a lexicon right here next to me. And if I open that lexicon and I go to find a German poet, Gerhard Hauptmann, I will read in there that it's a German poet and all his works that he's written and his death date and his wife, etc. And then I would go to David Ben-Gurion and I would find also data on David Ben-Gurion, that he founded Israel and when he was born, and his probably also something he published, but I will not find that they are the same person, because that info is not for everyone to see. That info is it's a secret info, and it's a Kabbalistic info. It is an esoteric info, okay? And as a normal person, even if I would push it in your face, you cannot perceive it, because there's a spiritual aspect to this knowledge. This is knowledge that is spiritually discerned. Just like when I talk to you about certain things of the New Testament, or I talk to you about miracles that I've seen, or other stuff, I can talk at you for hours, but you are not able to perceive it because it's something that has to do with your spirit. It has to do, yeah, whether you're able to grasp it or not. So there's nothing I can do about it. But we wanted to talk about the databases, and another one that I have rarely used is you have different databases for dead people, deceased people. And these are sometimes pretty good because they give you, like here, findagrave.com. Let's say when we are looking for, let's say John Wayne, famous actor. Like from these databases, I used them a couple time ago when I was working on the historic stuff. Like here we see John Wayne as we know him, and we see where his grave is and what it looks like. But I have to say this database I hardly used at all, but it's good because you have the family links here as well. So that is really practical. It's always good to have with one click the family connections on your hand. And then I have used for dating, when you want to find a spouse, that's very important. You can use this one here. Let's say I want to find the wives or the girlfriends of Magic Johnson, for example. Then I just type his name in here, and then I get here the dating history, and with one click I can find, because there's a lot of girls that just spend their spare time collecting all this stuff and putting it up here, and then I can find with one click 3 different women, and it's a lot faster to compare them, like if they're the same or not. That would be another database. And then sometimes I went for I use that one sometimes for the heights. If let's say I have 2 people, I'm not sure if they're the same or not, and I really want to know, and I have to check then the height. And let's say Vladimir Putin, I'm typing in here, and I want to see how tall is Vladimir Putin, and it's going to tell me with one click he's 170 centimeters or 5 feet 7. And so if I compare him, let's say Vladik Shebal, I don't know if Shebal is in here because he's not really, he's not so famous anymore. But see here, I have with one click. Okay, and I want the height of him. I want to see if he's also as tall as him or not. Okay, so that was the height websites. Websites where I check the height. Then a very good website is for everything that has to do with movies is IMDb. Everybody knows it. Which I use for a lot of stuff. So Vladik Shebal would be in here, because he is an actor, you know, he played in James Bond movies, etc. So you would find him right here with a biography, some pictures. For most people, they have some pictures here, short info, some of the movies he starred in, then a longer list of movies he starred in, and so there's a lot of data that you have right there. Also a bio. So this IMDb is a very good database, very good. I use it a lot, and I don't use any other thing like Rotten Tomatoes or anything. I use those, only IMDb. Then if somebody has a porn altar, like when he's younger, let's say between 20 and 35 years old, and he's shot porn movies, which a lot of these people do, because they just enjoy life and they enjoy everything life has to offer. And we know that for Illuminism and for like witches or people that are into the occult, sex is a very important aspect of their lives, because like in churches and in church history, or people who are like more settled characters living mundane lives in their societies, like sex always has a stigma, like, oh, you can't talk about it, like you can't swing and you can't have special relationships, as you call them. But for these people, sex is very important. Also in the Kabbalah, or in some witch covens, they are using sex magic to release certain energies at a special time for special purposes. So to these people, they're a lot more open about sex than like my family, for example, or other people. So let's say if we're looking for, if you're not sure, or if you just find a porn actor that looks totally like somebody else, like I've already have, like I think at least a dozen or 2 dozen porn actors on my blog, like from Mark Wahlberg and other people. I just cannot think of any right now. Let me see. Well, you would find anybody on here. Just for one example would be Annette Schwartz. Like there's many porn actors, but we know Annette Schwartz is pretty has been pretty famous in the last years because she does pretty wild stuff. And so with one click here, you have everything. Again, you have a picture, then you have the different aliases, you have the official birth date, and the sort of movies she does, and also you have the like the bra size and the height again, which is, the height is very interesting. And yeah, so, and then you, of course, you have all the funny titles of all these funny porn movies that she has made, like Comaholics or Cock Craving Cuties or all that stuff, Bitchcraft, or like the porn titles are always very funny to I mean, I just love, I laugh every time I hear the title of a porn movie because they're so funny. Okay, so that would be the databases. And okay, and now I want to show you like the most important program that I'm using on my blog. In the meantime, my pictures have proliferated all over the web. I've seen that even on some, I've seen even different ones on various websites that they appeared there. It's really funny. Even though I've been blogging for only about a year. Okay, let me show you then quickly. Like the only program I really use is irfanview. That's all I really do. It's a very famous program. It's basically it's to see pictures, and it's not really like GIMP, a picture editing software, or like Photoshop. But you can do basic things with it. You can change a picture a tiny bit, and look at them and or resize them. And so I want to show you really quickly how I'm using GIMP. And okay, let me first sort these in here. I have worked on Monica Bellucci and thought that she looks a lot like Iris Berben. So let me sort these in really with all the speed I can have. No, that was Roman Abramovich. That was another graph comparison for her. This one can go to waste because I have him anyway. That's a 90 shot for Bellucci here. And that's the frontals. And the height is a match. And okay, that's something else. Okay, let me see. If I would have here, I want to figure out if Iris Berben and Monica Bellucci are in fact the same woman. Okay. Then I know that yesterday I worked on the folder, so I already have like a good chunk of pictures, but let's pretend I would need a good 90 shot of her. Okay, I would go into my folder where I have all the 90s, and this picture I just downloaded, and then the first thing I would do is I would open the picture like this, and then I would press on my keyboard, on the right side of my keyboard, the plus button to make it bigger. Okay, like this probably. This would be a good size. Then I would, oops, that was not good. Okay, again, open and plus. And then I would need to bring the face in alignment. So I would use the short key Control and U. And now I can rotate. And I see that her face is about a 20-degree angle to the left. So I would hit 22 and enter. And then I would again hit plus. And now, lo and behold, the face is lined up in a vertical axis. And I can use it to put it against here the other alters of Iris Bourbon that we already have confirmed. Now this picture is to the wrong side, so I press H and it is flipping around. Now these are still too big, so I make them smaller by pressing the minus key. And then I can see, okay, that would be Ofra Haza here. That's an alter of Iris Bourbon where she played an Israeli star in the 70s and 60s. And so now I can put these profiles up against each other and see, okay, the chin very similar and the whole outline of the face. The whole thing is very similar. And then I could check also, see, these two would have to match because they're exactly the same woman. That's 2 times Bellucci. Now this is Iris Bourbon when she's young, probably 20 years old, and this is her now where she's probably 60. But the skull don't change, and so if I need a 90 shot for her, now I would go for it. I'd open my snipping tool like that, press new picture, and then just grab what I need, and then use my marker on it. And so that would be Bellucci, and that would be Haza here, Ofra Haza, and that would be Iris Bourbon. Okay, so I mark everything, put some paint to it, and then I save it, click the save button, and then I write, for example, 3 profiles. Okay, now this picture saves on my desktop, and now I can put it into the compared folder here, where it's with all the others, and that I can later upload. Okay, I wanted to show you now all the different functions of irfanview that I've been using so far. Let me see, let me go to, for example, here Rinat Akhmetov and Roman Abramovich. Let me see if there's anything missing here for him. I think I've worked on him already. Then I worked on his wives and compared all those. Let me see if I can find a folder where I still actually have to do some work that's missing out. What about Lars von Trier here? I don't have no comparisons for him yet. But he looked me a lot like the son actually of Sergio Leone. Like here I figured out that Sergio Leone, the Italian cinematographer, is actually the same person as is the son of Orson Welles, pretty likely, the famous American early Hollywood tycoon. Here he made the famous movie Citizen Kane, about a guy who runs a newspaper imperium. Okay, so here there's a lot to be desired here. Okay, I don't know where I have all the other ones for him. Let me see. That was Sophia Loren. That's not what I wanted. That was Anthony Quinn. That here with Sergio Leone. Okay, let me open that one and see what I can show you here. Okay, I also have a lot of comparisons for him yet. So, and that's Lars von Trier. So I wanted to figure out if Lars von Trier is the son of Sergio Leone. And for him I already have a lot of comparisons here. So that would be von Trier, the son, and that would be Leone, very likely the father. They also shave a lot alike. Like Lars von Trier was the one who has made the controversial comments about Nazis at the Cannes Film Festival. So he got some press for that. But I wanted to show you all the different functions. So let me just take a random picture. Let me see, I need to compare this guy here. Here we have Sergio Leone talking to Clint Eastwood, his actor. He instructs him how to do a certain shot. And let's see all the different functions I've been using. Here in this folder here, on this bar, I'm pretty much not using anything on here. Most of the stuff I do here in this line, most of us here you can access manually the rotate. You can just rotate 90 degrees, but I never use that. I always use Control U, and then I give in the how much I wanted to rotate, because it's a lot faster. And if you need to rotate to the left, you just press -90. It's going to do the same. so the rotation I've already explained, right? Then the flip I've hardly, sometimes I use the flip, but not very often. Sometimes when you have a face taken from one angle and it's just a better comparison that way, then I flip it to the side, but I don't do this very often. One that is very amazing is, let me see. Let's pretend I want to compare these two, right? I want to compare Lars von Trier here. See, for example, in this case, I could probably make this one a grayscale so that it's easier to compare, and then I could even go as far as to go color corrections and make it a bit darker, so that it looks a tiny bit more like on the left side, like the other picture. And I could make the contrast go down so that it's easier, and probably the saturation a bit back. And so now they would be easier to compare. And with this one I could flip it again and go bigger, bigger, plus, plus, plus. And then I would just take that ear as it is and make, now this one I would have to rotate a tiny bit to the left, so Control U -11, enter, and then see how they come out. I know I need to go a bit bigger, and then I make this ear just go to the very border, I grab it and I put it up against each other, and you see that they indeed are father and son. So that would be Sergio Leone. You know, all these famous producers are connected, and they have altars for every country. Like, let's say they're shooting a western, an Italo spaghetti western in Almeria in Spain, then they make themselves one altar. Then for Hollywood they have another altar. For Bollywood they have yet another one. So they have so many altars. They never use one name, and that's why they framed the sentence "show business is show business," because it's all fake basically. It's all like Kabbalism, or like, yeah, I mean, it's all pretend and hearsay, you know. And so we have these ears, and then I would write Sergio Leone, and here that would be von Trier, the one who is just now releasing. It's probably about 50 years old, and now he's at the same place that Rainer Werner Fassbinder was, or Sergio Leone, who are the same person. So as Leone, he would make the Western movies, and as Fassbinder in the 80s, he would make the German movies. And so that is his son right here. You can see it at the ear. It's obvious. And I could even point out this fossa down here that's reaching down. Okay, and I would just name the file, put it away. Now, let's pretend that this picture here was somewhat a bit different. Let's pretend that this picture here, I had the problem with it, that it would be, probably it would look like this. The picture would be very long, and the ear would be incredibly long. But in this case, the ear would be incredibly, what? Oh no, that was the wrong thing. So if in this case the ear, like this picture would look like that, and the other one would look like this. So what can I do then? What can I do in this case? Because I can't compare them like that, because they don't look anything alike. But then I can cheat, and I can use the resize function here. Go to Image, Resize, Resample, and then I just make the height go up, like here. And now we can see it's more a longer shape here. Okay, and in this case I would use the same Resize, Resample, and now reduce the height slightly from 1100 to, let's say, 1000. Okay, and now I can again compare a lot better. And let's say I can take the profiles here for both men and see that they're so very similar. And that is a function that you need as well, that I've been using quite a lot. Okay. And I want to show you the other functions as well. What else do we have? This one I didn't use, this one I didn't use. The grayscale I've showed you already. This one I never used. No, I never used that. Undo. The negative. Sometimes when you have a picture that has not much... I'm tired of these two guys. Let's look for somebody else. Let me see, for example, if I want to see if these two music producers, the Italian producer Zucchero and the German producer Edo Zanchi, if I want to compare these two guys, and I have some pretty good, for him I don't have an ear because he always has so much hair in his face. But let me see, if I have here Zucchero, the Italian soul singer. This picture's better, I think, yeah. Let's take that one. So I have him, and then I have here a 90 shot of Zanchi already. So I bring the, I resize, then I rotate. Let's see, -15 here probably something like that. And I resize again. And then let's just pretend I was having, you see, these are probably the same. See that? Let's take a quick snap. That would be Zanchi. He has a music studio not far from here, and my cousin, who is playing with, who is a guitarist, I think he also already been in the studio, and that would be the Italian one, Zucchero. So I'm pretty sure, because they make very because they both make kind of soul, groove, blues music. I think they're the same. Okay, but I want to show you more about irfanview, right? So sometimes I'm using this function where I just take the negative in different instances where I don't have so terribly much contrast, or for some other reason I just use a negative, and because then you can actually, sometimes it's disturbing to see so much color and to see so much nice stuff everywhere. So you just want the facts. That's all you want. And so right here you can see everything crystal clear, the glasses, the exact outline of the face. But I have to say I have not used that function a lot. It kind of gives a ghost view. It looks like a ghost. They both look like a ghost here, but I'm pretty sure actually that these two are the same guy. They look so similar. So that was the invert, the color invert thing. Okay, I can go back anytime. Color corrections I also use sometime. Let's pretend that this picture was very dark, okay, like this. I find it on the web. Then I would go to image, color corrections. Like sometimes it's easier for the eye. Let's say if we would have both pictures like this here. Let's go back here as well. And on the left side I have a picture that's like this, and on the right I have a pretty dark one. And what I would do then is I try to make them look similar, so it's easier. So I would go to here, color corrections, and then I would just go with the gamma down here, probably like this, and also get with the contrast down, gamma back up a bit, and the saturation a bit less. And then I would have something like this, and then again I could make my comparison. So that would be another thing that I've done a lot. The histogram I never used really. It's just, and all of that stuff I didn't use either. And here I didn't use any of this really. I didn't use any of that. Didn't use any of that. So that was pretty much everything that I've done with irfanview. Everything I've done, all the pictures on my blog are done like that. I'm taking pictures from Google, I'm putting them up against each other, I'm sorting them into the proper folders, and I make a comparison folder. I put everything that's in it, and the rest is just the snipping tool and painting some stuff on it, making my drawing, or making some random funny comments, which is actually also pretty funny. Because if if I only put pictures like this up on the internet, it's gonna be boring, you know. I mean, it's gonna look boring, and yeah, I don't like that. If you just can think of a funny comment to write, then I just put it on there. And that's pretty much it. So that's what I made this video for, to show you how I do irfanview. That's pretty much it. And now I wanted to upload a whole batch already a couple days ago, and they're all in here in this folder, which has grown a lot. And I just need to get all this shit off my back and upload it on the blog. And I really gotta do that. Let me see where we're at right now with the video. Okay, yeah. So just the last couple of days I've been working on different things. You know, I every time I find one guy. So for example, I was working on the Quinns, like Anthony Quinn and Danny Quinn, his son, and then I was working on, because I figured out that Danny Quinn is actually Jim Carrey, and so then it was so many people, I had to make a list again so that I can get the overview. And so that his father, Anthony Quinn, who played Aristotle Onassis, the rich man, and that you have his wife, who has also at least half a dozen alters. Like, she's Sheryl Crow, the pop singer, and she's all of these actresses. Because she's very skinny, they made her into a Canadian alter as well. And then it goes on with the children, you know, like these guys here that are in like 5 years or so, or 10 years, they're gonna as big as him. But as for now, they're still, they're all playing their roles. They all do, but I don't put them in my data as of yet. And so I was working on the Quinns, and then I was working on this and that, and I figured out that on Sergio Leone, it's the same guy as the Fassbinder guy. And then I figured out, crap, he looks just like Orson Welles, and so I have to check that as well, and see if they're father and son, and because it's actually a tight family construct. I mean, these people it's actually not many people that are releasing all these movies and stuff. I mean, all of the great albums of music and the great movies that are produced are made by only a handful of people. So so it's actually not so hard to find all that. And so that would be Sergio Leone and Fassbinder, the German producer. And then that would be Orson Welles, and you know, and there's no end to it all. And then you look at his wife and realize, oh, she's Hannah Shigula. Like, Fassbinder made many movies with his lead actress Hannah Shigula in the 70s and 80s, and you realize then the data says they were not married, but you know, they hang out together a lot. So I mean, it's only obvious that then you have to look. Who was the other guys married to? Like, who was Sergio Leone married to? And so you compare these women, and you realize, lo and behold, the eyes look all alike, and the skull as well. And then already you have another match. And then I also figured she's Esther Villar. Like, this woman here, Esther Villar, she wrote in the 80s The Manipulated Man. That's one of my all-time favorite books, because it's writing about how actually in our modern society the men are exploited, not the women, and that the men are actually the ones that are being manipulated and abused, not the women, because the men don't have a choice. And so she wrote one of my the books that I really love, and you know, Hannah Shigula is still this one right here, The Manipulated Man. And so you match up the data, and you see, okay, they're not far apart. And of course, for her, they make her into kind of a Polish-German kind of type. And here they say, okay, she came from Buenos Aires. But, you know, that's just, they can create so many different alters. And you have here the 90s, like she's getting older in the meantime, of course. You see here the skull, the chin, the mouth, everything. I've showed you that so many times in other videos. So I was, you know, there's no end to this research. And Ingrid Cavan, for example, she was, you see, she was with Fassbinder. Like Fassbinder had a bunch of women, not so many. And so I compared all those, and I also compared the women of Sergio Leone, and yeah, so there's so much stuff that you need to do in the comparisons. And at some point you have to say, because I mean you can trace forever, you know, you can go on forever because there's connections everywhere, but you have to say at some point, no, I'm going to put a stop here and going to work on something else because it's just too much. And that's, you just have to make a point at some point, because otherwise there's no end. And I mean, not so terribly many people are watching my blog anyway, so I sometimes have to just kind of economize and say, okay, I'm not working on this anymore. Let's put these one into the right folder just really quickly. It would be Sergio. Was it Lars von Trier? No, I think it was, yeah, it was the sun. And this also the sun. Okay, so let's put these in here. Okay, I think I'm gonna put a stop on that video. And yeah, I would just want to show you how irfanview works. That's all that I want to do in this video, and so that you can understand how I'm doing the pictures, so that you can do the same. You know, you don't have like my family to every evening flap yourself on the sofa and watch a new DVD. You can do this research too. It doesn't take a lot of skill. It only takes a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of skill. It only takes a freeware program. It takes an internet connection, and that's pretty much all you ever need. I mean, everybody can do this research. And if there was more people helping, we could probably make a database. Like we could start our own wiki on the internet, and we could call it, I don't know what we could call it, the conspiracy wiki, or I don't know what we could call it. But if you, it would be a lot easier if there was more people helping, because right now the only people who are doing this kind of research, it's not many people. Like I know this website right here, this website, but these guys also, since my blog has taken off a lot, people say they have not done so terribly much anymore. Okay. I even have older material from these guys that I still have to sift through. And then there's of course the well over one side. But I have to say, since I was talking to one of the Greenbergs, and they would say, then they would admit that actually they are running this website. And so this whole Ed Chiarini guy is one of them. And so he's also an Illuminus. But this website is so terrible. I mean, every time I open it, my browser almost crashes because it's terrible. There's no overview. It's very clumsy. And you know, right now, for example, like more because completely out of, so I have to close it already. So this website is crap, basically. It used to be very good, but now it's really, and so you know, there's not many people doing this sort of stages from history, not just like this Italian actor is the same as this Australian actor. No, I'm talking about like stuff that's 500 or 1,000 years old, or even older. And so that's actually the fascinating aspect of it. Let me just close Firefox here really quick, because it's just okay. So you know, I'm talking about this stuff here, the old age stuff, where I also already found so much stuff. For example, just one example here. Here, Catalina and Cicero, who must have been the same guy. See? Almost the same face. Here and here. Almost the same guy. And of course, he was his own worst enemy. That's so typical, you know. It's just the same thing right now with Roman Abramovich and Rinat Akhmetov. One is a Russian oligarch, super rich, and the other one is a Ukrainian oligarch. And one guy bought the soccer club Chelsea in England, and the other guy bought another soccer club in Ukraine, and Shakhtar Donetsk. And actually, you read in the newspapers that they are the worst enemies, when in fact they're the same guy. You know, it's so typical. It's absolutely typical. And this stuff goes back very far, you know. Like this would be a map of the Diadochen after Alexander the Great was there. So this sort of research is actually really gratifying, because it's so interesting to see the same stuff went on in ancient history that's actually going on today, because there's the power structure, or the spiritual reality behind the power on Earth is still the same. And so it's the same concept that's at work. And even in ancient Rome here, you have a Roman comedian play Hannibal, the greatest enemy of the Roman Empire, of a Punic warlord. Same person. So they are from one powerful family who ruled at the same time all the great cultures on Earth. And that's very normal. Once you see the power structure as it really is, and see through the whole dialectics of Kabbalism and occultism, you can really see what's really going on. And I want to close that video. I only wanted to show you guys different view, and that's all there's to it. And so visit my blog sometime and leave a comment about what you think of it. Okay. Goodbye.